We had a span of chapters in the 900s from like 900 to 908 or 909, where Oda touched on the Reverie and things that were going on there. Those are some of the best chapters in One Piece ever, just because of the information dump and just how much went on in those chapters. You ever wondered if you could get more from the Reverie? Like if we could just get a bit more, some more questions answered, how would it play out? Okay, well, this video is mainly about a fan-made chapter. Behind this fan-made chapter is Arthur, the owner of the Library of Ohara, in which he translates the Reverie cards, the SBSs, things like that. Basically, I believe it's a 5-part series in which we go back to the Reverie, and basically it's like an info dump of a bunch of theories and things people are thinking about, and he added art and created a story around it. So this is not canon whatsoever. This is a fan-made chapter, but I thought just the execution of it and how cool it was, why not talk about it? So for every chapter that's released of this, I will make a video about it. When something is released One Piece related, if it's cool, I'm going to talk about it. Now, one thing I know for Arthur, this is just for fun. This is something that, you know, he's passionate about. He's not trying to replace the story and things Oda has set up. This is just a fan-made thing, basically in good fun. So I know some people, they get a bit triggered when people try to change things that Oda has set up. This is not that, all right? This is just a fun thing. And honestly, the designer and the artist as well, she is the person responsible for the Blackbeard going to Whole Cake Island, like fan-made thing as well. So her working on this with Arthur, they created this story and I thought it was pretty cool. So I'm just gonna go over like what happened in the chapter. The link will be in the description box down below. I thought it was really cool because essentially it's filling in the gaps of what we thought we missed at the Reverie. So guys, the link is in the description box down below. Go check it out. Show your support. But without further ado, let's talk about this chapter. So it's starting off on the second day of the Reverie, and Kobe has gotten back to Marine headquarters, and we meet Vice Admiral Cancer, and he's the chief of the Marine Promotion Council. I know for Kobe, it was stated that he was a Vice Admiral, but that was changed. That was a mistake, and now he is actually a Rear Admiral, so this is interesting that it's in here. Oops, sorry. To clarify, Kobe is still a captain. In 956, he was introduced as a Rear Admiral, and that was a mistake. In volume 95, Kobe is presented as a captain, just to clarify. The Rocky Port incident was mentioned as well. That's the whole thing with Law. That's the main reason why a lot of people felt like Law was in Sword. When things come up, I'm going to try to basically use the actual canon story to justify some of the things that's happening, because again, this is a what if scenario. That's what I want you guys to look at it as, a what if scenario, because a lot of these things that happen in this chapter, they can't happen because the story is taking a different route, but it's a cool way to kind of just give us a what if. It's almost as if chapters made after Marineford if Ace survived. So pretty much Vice Admiral Cancer tells Kobe and Helmeppo that they will get promoted if they keep up what they're doing. And this is after Kobe comes back from stopping this torpedo. And again, the story has gone a different route with Kobe. I'm not sure how this is going to play into it, but this is really interesting. One of the main things about the Reverie that I would have liked to see was Fujitora's proposal, like his proposition and how he went about it at the Reverie. We really didn't see that. We could see it. Oda could go back and show how Fujitora presented all this to the kings and just the royalty, because I was really interested in the reactions of everyone when all this was going down. We see Kobe and Helmeppo, they're talking about if Fujitora accepts the proposition. So it's in line with how I expected it to play out. I think one of the more interesting parts of the chapter was Garp's conversation with Hina, in which Garp reveals a lot about rocks. And this is something we absolutely were craving after 957 about the rocks pirates. And one of the main things were about if Garp and Roger were fighting Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, Rocks, Shiki, how did they win? First off, Garp reveals that God's Valley, the capital of it is Emerald City. And Emerald City is something that was mentioned earlier in the story. And in the past, a lot of people felt like that would be an actual arc, going to Emerald City. So this is incorporating, like, again, another fan theory of Emerald City and making it a huge thing. So when these things come up, I'm going to give you guys some context as to why it's mentioned in the story or why it has such an acclaim. So that's actually pretty cool. And apparently one of the reasons why Rocks was trying to go to God's Valley was the treasure, and the treasure was the most powerful devil fruit in existence. We have the Gurgura and we have the Yami Yami. I'm trying to think exactly what could be the most powerful devil fruit. The only thing I can think of is maybe a water devil fruit, but I don't think something like that would ever exist. And apparently Rocks went down with the island, and it all happened because of a great storm. So just like Roger got out of that war with Shiki, Rocks died died because of this storm. So either Roger is really lucky or some other shit is going on. Again, it highlighted the crew that Rox had under him and just the powerhouses that were with him, and it justified how they were able to take down all those powerhouses. Basically, Whitebeard switched sides. That's something as well that's been theorized based on Whitebeard's personality and just how he goes about things. At some point in the midst of the battle, Whitebeard felt like this is not something I want to be a part of, and the chapter is saying that Whitebeard felt like his captain's ambitions jeopardized both his own dreams and threatened the balance of the world. So that's something that I've been also holding off on in regards to Whitebeard, where I need some more context with God's Valley, because a lot of people, they use God's Valley to somehow downplay the Yonko with Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido saying, well, Roger and Garp beat them, without knowing exactly what happened. When people felt like Garp was the only one to take down a Rock's parts, I said, let's wait for some context. And then all of a sudden, it was Garp and Roger. And I'm assuming Roger had his crew with him, Garp had Marines with him. So the more context that we get, I think then we can make a better assessment. Another major thing revealed was the fact that apparently Dragon, I'm assuming it's Dragon, is a celestial dragon. So again, a bunch of theories that's been speculated throughout the community is being incorporated into this chapter. I think the part of the chapter that I enjoyed the most is probably the Shanks stuff, where it actually shows Shanks going back to his ship and talking to his crew and telling his crew about what the world government planned on doing with the information he gave to them. And apparently the world government, they're not going to do anything, they're not going to take any action. So Shanks and his crew, they decided to do it themselves. The conversation about Luffy as well is interesting because they highlighted that Luffy has 2 emperors on his back, and Shanks said we can't underestimate him because he's gotten a lot stronger, and I can't meet him until, you know, he achieves his dream. So that was really cool, and that's something I can actually see happening. And then they declare that they're going after Blackbeard. Of course, in the canon story, Blackbeard is now heading towards something, and he said if the world government isn't going to use it, he might as well take it for himself. So who knows what that might be. The chapter pretty much ends with a conversation between Neptune and Shirahoshi and discussing the possibility of Fishman Island being relocated. And that's something that was a topic, or should have been a topic for the Reverie as well. But the main part of this was the fact that, you know, it's a lot of wind going on at this time. And because it's a lot of wind, of course, Dragon shows up. This is something we all wanted at the Reverie, as far as like Dragon showing up and declaring war in person. It's not a confirmation of his devil fruit. Like a lot of people feel like he has the wind Logia, but with the wind picking up with him showing up, you can assume that's what it's hinting towards. I remember early in the Reverie as well, like in the actual canon story, the wind was prevalent in a bunch of different panels. So that's why a lot of people felt like Dragon was already there. Of course, it's been revealed that Dragon is actually still at the Kamabaka Kingdom, so that's not a thing. However, again, this is a what if, and it's going the route of a bunch of things to, I mean, of course, appease the fan base, the Western fan base mostly, but it's just a bunch of hype things that's going to be happening in these chapters, and I think it's done really well. The art is fantastic. I think the story is really well put together as far as like this what if scenario, and I felt like it was really cool, so I wanted you guys to check it out as well. But guys, give me your thoughts. How do you feel about this fan-made chapter? And this is chapter 1. I believe it's 5 or 6 chapters. I'll verify by the next chapter. But give me your thoughts. If you would like me to continue to review these, you can let me know if you're not feeling it. But I just want to make this very clear again. Arthur, Tina, and everyone involved in this project, they're not trying to replace Oda, or do they think that they are Oda? This is basically taken from Oda's story and adding a few chapters for it based on the community spin and things they thought and felt would be fun. More so as a tribute to just how great Oda is, where you can write an entire spin-off from his actual story, then replacing what would happen. I think it's cool because we always speculate what would happen in the Reverie if we actually saw it, or different things being revealed. So people, please don't take offense to this. Please don't try to say that this is better than Oda's chapters, because Oda, we already know, is a legend, and this is not replacing what happened in the Reverie, right? This is not canon whatsoever. This is fan-made, and I think this is dope when people do this. The Blackbeard going to Whole Cake Island chapter stuff was great. There was a Whitebeard versus Kaido chapter stuff that was great. These are just the fans basically paying tribute, paying homage to Oda because of how much we enjoyed the story. We talk about this all the time as far as One Piece in regards to different spin-offs, things we would like to see, side stories. I believe once One Piece ends, we're gonna have a bunch of people like taking on the liberty of just adding things that they felt like would be relevant to the actual story. Of course, it wouldn't be canon, but it's a cool way to kind of round out the story story just using your headcanon. One thing that Oda is great at, again, is building a lot of hype within the story, and a lot of things aren't always straightforward. So we gotta take it for what it's worth and just have fun with things like this. But give me your thoughts, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BroccoDAce, follow me on Instagram at BroccoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons, I appreciate you guys so much. Again, guys, check out the libraryofahara.com for the actual chapters. There's a video on this as well. The links will be in the description box down below. Thank you guys again so much. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.